Now, through the miracles of modern technology, zany worldwide banner featuring Tom, Michelle, and Jim in an on-topic, off-topic free-for-all. Welcome to the Gun Talk After Show.
It's the After Show where I don't really know what we do. It's because we don't actually know what we're doing here, guys. We have Jim and Michelle. Hi, guys.
Hello.
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 Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday slash anniversary.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Dear After Show. Happy birthday to you. 2 years, buddy.
You guys are so weird.
Yeah.
You know that, don't you?
Jim rubs off on
This
me.
is 2 years for the After Show now?
Yeah, 2 years today.
Okay, I think that's enough. We'll talk to you.
Great.
Oh, we have to keep doing this? Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Nice.
Well, because we have people hanging and all.
Hey, all right, Mikey, line one, Olympia, Washington. Hey, Mike, talk to me, man.
Hey, how are you? Hey.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Insanity.
Well, I was just calling because of your guide and outfitter question, and just to try and shed some light on that was, although I spent 28 years in the military before that, the way I earned my way through college was I guided. I'm from Wyoming. The deal with outfitters and guides, the outfitter assumes all the financial responsibility for the hunt. So the outfitter may be a travel agent type of guy that just enjoys outdoors, and that's his specialty, and he hires out guide, okay? But he assumes all the financial liability. So if that hunter gets hurt, it's the outfitter that has to pay. It's his insurance. And so any guide in his right mind is not going to deal directly with a client because he's not covered.
That makes sense.
There's a huge difference between guides, too. So, a guy in Arkansas or a guy in Mississippi guiding on his 50 acres for turkey, okay, he's a guide and he hires himself out. But chances are the guy probably doesn't have the insurance. He's just doing it because he's got a lot of turkey on his land. So any guy that, for example, guides in Alaska, and I've lived in Alaska, and although I never used a guide up there, their guide criteria is extremely stringent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so, you take your life in your own hands up there. So I always say, you get what you pay for. And if the guy enjoyed the hunt, great. Just go through it again because the outfitter's really not getting that much.
No, he's not.
And it's a peace of mind for the client. It's a peace of mind for the guide. And I'm not advocating the use of guides. I personally don't use them, but
Well, I tend to be a big believer in guides. If you're going to go to a place where you don't know the lay of the land, it can be a huge time and money saver to use a guide there because otherwise you're wandering around on public land and, Now, if you live there and you got time to figure it out and do all that, that's one thing. But if you got to go in for 2 or 3 or 4 days, or, for instance, if you're going to go back into the Bridger Wilderness and somebody's got a pack string, I want somebody that knows what the heck they're doing back there. So everybody's got to figure it out for himself. But, Mike, I appreciate that. That's good information. I wasn't sure how the relationship worked with the outfitter and the guide. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that call.
Wouldn't that give you a little recourse, too, in case something wasn't cool? You could go to the outfitter and have a leg to stand on and maybe give you another deal with another.
Look, the thing I was going to add to that is this. There are uncountable number of stories of bad guides or shady outfitters. Do your homework. And in this case, I'm going to get real specific about that. Say you're going to go on an elk hunt somewhere. You're going to go spend $8,000 or $10,000 on this hunt. Well, I'm going to talk not just to the outfitter, but I want to talk to the guide. And then I want them to give me the names of 6 customers who have hunted with them in the last 2 years with phone numbers and contact information. And I'm going to call, not email, I'm going to call every single one of those customers. And I'm going to have a list of questions and say, could you tell me about the hunt? How did it go? How was the food? How were the other employees? How were the wranglers? Were there any problems out there? And they're going to give you the best ones, of course, but you've got to do your due diligence. I have been on a hunt in British Columbia where I and the rest of us all wanted to shoot and gut the guide. It was only because he was the only one that knew how to get out of there that we didn't do that. I had a friend of mine who was left in British Columbia by the guy, dropped off, and they never came back for him.
Oh, my God.
And I'm talking about in the wilds of BC. He finally flagged down after 14 days, flagged down a passing float plane who came in and picked him up and got him out of there. 14 days.
Kidding.
Yeah, I'd find that guy again.
He was looking for him when I saw him, and he says, if I find him, I'm simply going to kill him. So that's why you want to do your due diligence. You really have to research this stuff, and it's up to you and nobody else. And the idea of, well, I can go back and always sue him. Yeah, but you're left out there for 14 days, and nobody knows where you are.
Yeah, you got to make it through that first.
Yeah.
Problem one. Assuming you don't, who didn't. Yeah, problem one, exactly. So there you go. Barry's with us on 2, Carson City. Hey, Barry.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for taking my call. I was wondering if they do make a dual-purpose scope that I could use on my Mini 14 and my AR-15.
Okay, talk to me about what's the issue. Why would there be a problem doing that?
What it is I called up Ruger, and they told me that I could only use the .223 caliber in the Ruger Mini 14 and not use the 5.56 caliber because it has different ballistics.
Okay.
And what I wanted to do is use the bullet drop compensator, or how to, figure it out for both rifles.
Got you. Okay. The difference between the two calibers in trajectory is infinitesimal. You cannot tell the difference. The rifles are not accurate enough to know the difference, because all you're talking about is perhaps maybe 100 feet, at most 200 feet per second difference. So it is a difference without a distinction, or vice versa. Ignore it. Just get the scope you want. It'll work for 5.56 or for .223. Don't sweat it.
Okay, but they did tell me, though, that in the 5.56 I could use either caliber, but just use a .223 in the Mini 14. Is that right?
That is correct. If your rifle is stamped .223 on it, you're not supposed to use 5.56 ammo in it. But if it's stamped 5.56, you can use either 5.56 or .223 ammo in it. But what I'm telling you is, for the purposes of a bullet drop compensating scope, that is, that compensates for the trajectory, the drop of the bullet, between those two calibers, it doesn't matter. Just if you have one scope you want to move back and forth, that's fine. It'll work for both of them.
Okay, that sounds great. Do I have time to ask you one quick question?
Well, sure.
Okay, on a 45, I've always used Colts. I don't know, maybe just because they're Colts. But
sure.
Mine's getting a little bit too old now, and I don't know if it's there's so many on the market right now that, and I haven't been shopping around for any, but I'd kind of like to get a new one, but I don't know if it's worth spending the extra money to get a Colt, or if there's maybe something in between that's pretty good.
You might be surprised if you haven't been in the market, because the Colt may not cost you as much as you think, and some of the other ones are going to cost you more than you think. You could end up spending easily more on a Kimber than you do on a Colt, for instance. Michelle, am I right there?
You're right, and I'm not sure if the caller is aware of the fact that Colt is back manufacturing their pistols again.
That's true. You can get a new Colt. They're making pistols now. So if you like Colts, there's no reason not to get a Colt, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, it's just been so long since I've just kind of basically worn this 45 out because I just like it, but it's a little old.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, I was going to say, get back out there into the stores and take a look around, because they have to be an authorized Colt dealer in order to be able to sell them. But Colt is back manufacturing the Series 70, Series 80 pistols, and you ought to be able to find one that you like at a price that you'll be surprised with.
Well, and let me tack on to that. The other thing is, to Michelle's point, get out and go and look in stores, because if you haven't been in the market, are you ever in for a surprise? You will not believe how many 1911s are being made now by everybody. Smith & Wesson and SIG and Ruger and Colt and Kimber and ST. I mean, I could not possibly come up with all the names, but there are so many out there. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really stormed the market. The 1911 45s are, well, even the 9s now. I mean, if he's liking the 45, he might try out a 9, see what he thinks of that.
Barry, you're in for a treat. It's going to be great, and it's going to be terrible at the same time. It's going to be great at the selection, but making up your mind, that's the hard part, man.
That's always been my problem.
Join the party. There you go. Listen, thank you for the call. Michelle, that's one of the things that's great. We have... The selection is incredible now.
Right. It used to be, obviously, Colt was the name to have, and then Kimber was taking over, and Colt kind of dissipated a little bit, and unfortunately, they've gone through their financial issues. But in the meantime, like you say, Remington, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Springfield Armory, all of them have come in and taken the area by storm. There's just a lot of guns being...
And the budget models, like Les Bear and...
That's it. If you want to spend money on a real, top drawer one, a high end, you can get a Les Bear, you can get a Wilson Combat, get a Night Force Custom, get the STIs. I mean, you can spend $600 for a 1911, or you can spend $3,500.
This is true. And they're all basically set at what we would say in the old days of being a race gun. They're ready to go off the shelf.
Clean it, lube it, take it out, shoot it.
Yep.
There you go. Let's get to Frank in Talkeetna. He's been on hold for a little while. Hey, Frank, thanks for holding.
Howdy, Tom. We're always wondering, we're asking ourselves, how can we get more people involved in the NRA and other organizations? Am I correct?
Yes.
So I have a very, very small business here, and I hire one worker at a time. For years now, it's been my policy to get a new worker, unless he objects, a 1-year membership to the NRA. I've never had anybody object, and after that year, they're on their own. They can renew or they can stop, but that might be something we can do to get more people involved.
Well, it's a great idea. Actually, I had something happen interesting while we were doing the show today. I had a lady, Cecilia, wrote me a note. She says, if everybody gave $5 to the NRA, all 5 million members, then they'd get $25 million. She says, I can afford $5, but I can't afford a membership. Well, 2 things. One is, I think you can still get the associate membership for $10. Now, you don't get a magazine for that, but you are a member of the NRA. And so that counts. But the other thing is, I just wrote her back. I said, give me your address. I will buy you an NRA membership. I can do a one-on-one here. So I'm going to buy her an NRA membership. And it's kind of like the rest of us. Even if you buy somebody an associate membership, the $10 one, most people can do that. What can you get for $10 now? Can't even get 2 Big Macs or Happy Meals, can you? Doesn't go that far.
No doubt.
So I don't know. But Frank, it's an interesting idea. I wouldn't want to just necessarily force an NRA membership on an employee, because some people may say, I just don't want to belong. So, okay, fine. But anybody that wanted to, employers could certainly do that for them, I guess.
Just be a benefit of employment.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I think we've been hiring people like crazy at GUNTALK Media, and so we're going to incorporate that tomorrow when I get to the office.
There you go.
It's going to go around and walk around and say, okay, everybody in? All right, cool. We'll cover it. We got it. We'll take care of that. Let's take a break here because I know Michelle's got a bone to pick about instructors and training.
When doesn't she have a bone to pick? You have a bone to pick every week, Michelle.
No, I don't.
This is Michelle's bone of the week. She's going to complain about something. She's always... there you go.
Oh, my goodness.
We love you, Michelle.
Aww.
Sometimes more than others, but that's her. What?
And we break.
And we go to the break. All right, be right back.
You're at a gun store and your phone tells you about hot deals. Want to know about special offers? No problem when you have GunDealio, the free app for your smartphone. GunDealio delivers the latest deals on guns, ammo, and extras direct to your phone. Don't overpay for your shooting gear. Get GunDealio. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Trigger the deals with GunDealio. GunDealio.com.
And we're back, and it is Valentine's Day. And we do love you, Michelle.
Aw,
so just to let you know.
Thanks.
We do. Some people say it with flowers. We like to say it with bullets. So that's a whole different thing.
As long as you're giving them to me and not sending them at me, I'm good with that.
I see.
But how are you supposed to get used to it? How are you supposed to get used to it if we don't?
That's right. If we don't shoot right next to you, how will you know what it's like to be in a gunfight? Yeah. Can you believe that, really? Seriously?
No, wow. That's just amazing. And what's even more amazing is that somebody's going to sign up for that. What?
What?
I'm curious how many people sign up for course 102.
Maybe not many.
Not half of them. But, it's really weird to that point. We're talking about Dave Spalding. People do sign up for these classes because they don't know any different. They think, well, this is cool. This is real. This is gutty. This is...
He's got a Rambo headband in.
We're being operators. No, you're not. You're being dangerous, and you're endangering everybody. And, if you're the shooter, that's dumb. But if you're the one who's downrange holding the target, that's beyond dumb. I think I told you guys the story about a fellow I met who went to... He's a well-known trainer. One of these guys... And it was a shotgun class, and 2-day shotgun class. And he said he left at lunch on the first day and did not come back. I said, okay, why? What's going on? He said, I just got tired of having 12-gauge shotguns pointed at my stomach at point-blank range. Okay, yep, that would do it.
Yeah, that gets old quick.
He said, yeah, we're all lined up like we're SWAT guys. And this is just a bunch of people. And we're doing the serpentine movement, and they got these muzzles going everywhere. And going, no, that's just movie make-believe, I am the macho dude BS. Yeah. And he said, yeah, I just left my money, didn't ask for it back, just left it. Yeah, smart move. Get out of there.
Don't you think the most important thing you need to learn is, obviously we talk about where your muzzle is and muzzle safety and orientation and all that, but either to advance or retreat?
Yes, you should be able to move while keeping control of your muzzle, and if it ever points at somebody, at least somebody you didn't plan to shoot, then you have lost control of your firearm. Yeah. That would be part of the training, I would think.
Right. To that, I'm just amazed at how many people think that defensive combat, whether it be with a pistol or a shotgun, is rolling across the floor or breaching a building. Like, how many times are you going to do that? Ever?
6. I'm going to do it 6 times.
But I mean,
six times.
That's on my list.
You already,
yeah.
Okay, 6
Scheduled
times. Okay.
for Wednesday.
Gosh.
No, you're right. I mean, it's not real world situation.
It's not.
The Walmart parking lot scenario Tom used earlier was way more real world.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I thought Dave Spalding hit it right on the head. He said, look, what are you doing here? He says, if you get attacked, what you're going to have is what you're going to have. You're going to use your handgun to get out of there. You need to master this tool. And it's a simple tool, but mastery of it does require some work on your part. There just are some very unrealistic expectations when it comes to self-defense. And there's a lot of Walter Mitty, and the truth of it is some of the trainers are selling entertainment as opposed to selling training. And I get that. I mean, there's got to be some entertainment involved. It's got to be fun. But some people want to sign up for like boot camp and get yelled at and be treated badly. And, I don't have to pay somebody to treat me badly. I just walk up to people in the street and they do that.
Nice. I think it goes to the point of kind of back to the guide and the outfitter. You get what you pay for. Going into a class, if you've done your review, if you've done your research, if you've talked to people who have gone through those classes, what to expect. And that they're a qualified person to teach. And don't get me wrong, there's lots of ex-police and military that are great teachers. But just because you're that person doesn't mean that you're a great teacher. It doesn't mean that you can express.
Or just because you are an NRA certified instructor, and if you want to see eyes roll, talk to some of these trainers and say, yeah, but he's an NRA certified instructor, and it's like you get the Olympian level eye roll.
Well,
like,
yeah. And I think that's what I had said to you initially, is just because you went through an NRA class doesn't make you all of a sudden a great teacher of
or tactician.
Anything. I mean, you're just repetitive of what the book is. Here, take this book and read it.
Memorize it. Yeah.
When I took the NRA class, and I don't mean anything against the NRA. They're trying to start a standard. They're starting somewhere. They're starting at point 1. I knew more than the instructor did.
Yeah, not surprised at all.
I knew more than the instructor. I paid him my money to get the certificate that I had more experience in than he did.
And frankly, you probably taught him something during the class, would be my guess.
Yeah, how to bone pick.
Well,
you won't let go of that, will you? You just get right there every time.
He just got to bring it back.
Twist that knife. Just twist it.
But I just think that just because you can get a class for $10, $15, $25 cheaper, what is the cost of your family's safety? The way that I look at it, and Jim, I know you're the same way, is my family's out there on the street. I'm out there on the street. I want you to know just as much as I do, or maybe more than me. I'm okay with you knowing more than me. It comes down to safety.
That could segue to a point I wanted to bring up, Tom, which is basically to interrupt Michelle.
Well, knock yourself out.
Yeah,
I think you've already done that.
It ties in. It ties in. It really does. Somebody who's just getting into guns posted something the other day I read, and I'm thinking, I've been around guns a while. I'm not an expert by any means, but I know a little bit. This guy's just getting into it. And a comment he made really made me think, and I don't know how to answer it. He said, everybody should get a CCW permit that's able to. As a society, we are responsible for more than just our family. And it brings back the engage or not engage question. We are responsible for our family. And you would, all three of us, I'm sure, would engage to protect ourselves and our family. He said that we have responsibility to our other members of society to prevent the stuff like what happened in Columbus this past week. The machete attack, 5 people stabbed. That it's not just your duty to get your family and get the hell out. You do.
I understand that, and I don't disagree with that, but let's throw this out. If you decide, okay, that's going to be my level of engagement, I'm going to do more than just get my family away from it. I'm going to try to stop bad guys. Let me suggest this. That requires a significantly upgraded level of training and practice and preparedness, because you now are taking on the role of self-anointed good guy.
Right.
You're not in the role of self-defense anymore. That's a different role. Now, your training took care of self-defense. If you want to be the guy that goes in and saves other people, you had better go and really seriously ramp up your training to recognize multiple threats, how to deal with them, how to move through a crowd of people. And you better have done that, if not live fire, certainly with simunitions or some kind of thing like that. You don't want the first time you try to do that when you've got scared people running everywhere, blood's flying everywhere where someone's getting stabbed and you're trying to move through there with your gun with your finger on the trigger. Right. And then 300-pound guy runs over you as he's trying to go out the door and you end up shooting him by mistake. Okay, I'm just saying that if you decide, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be the good guy and I owe it to society, okay, if you want to take on that mantle, take it on, but there's a lot of extra responsibility that goes on.
And I definitely know he didn't think through it that deep. I think it was more of a generalization of the way society is now. We all owe it to each other to protect each other. We can't wait for the police. And if something like that came down, can you run out the back door? Sure. But if you could put a bullet in the guy and stop him, you really owe that to the people in the restaurant that weren't killing.
Yeah. And I understand what he's saying, and I don't disagree with it, as I say. But it's just a case of, can you always recognize what's going on? Do you have a continuum of force available to you so that you have something that's between yelling and shooting? Do you have pepper spray with you? Or do you have something else going that you can utilize? There's a lot that goes into that.
Oh, yeah.
And you never know at that point in time who's coming up on your back. And we've seen this. We've seen this in different situations. And
the Walmart
in the Walmart.
Yeah,
exactly.
Vegas.
Yeah. So, if you choose to advance that, you've stepped into a whole different situation, which you may not, unfortunately, walk out of. And you know that going in. But I understand.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a general
if something were happening to you and you were my neighbor, would I come over and figure out what was going on? Or what would I do? Would I lock my own family up in the house? Everybody has to make that choice.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend just jumping in to help.
Yeah, and I think it was more of a generalization of society in general needs to protect themselves, and not everybody will.
Right.
And
yeah.
Like
I say, I don't think he's wrong. I would just,
Right.
My concern would be that people would say that or hear that and say, yeah, I want to do that. I will help people. I'm a good guy. I'm a good gal. I like to help people, but not understand what that actually is going
Entails,
to mean
yeah.
in terms of what do you have to do? What do you have to be aware of? Do you understand that you are basically saying, once I make that decision, I am now willing to be dead. I'm willing to leave my children motherless, and I'm willing to leave my family without a father because I have chosen to go take care of this. Being the good guy doesn't mean you survive.
Right.
And I just think that most people never go that far with their thinking.
And to that, even if you are a single person in the home, okay, you have the ability to flee the situation, okay? Flee or fight. That's got to be your decision. Mentally, you have to have had gone there before, somewhere before, several times over and over, different scenarios. But if you can flee the situation and report information back to the authorities, that might be more useful than going down in a battle.
Right. Oh, sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, being a good witness is a really good tactic. Think of that as a tactic. I'm being tactical by being a good witness, by calling in, because to your point, Jim, you don't know if there's somebody else involved, there's somebody in the car outside you can't see, and once you get engaged, they're going to come running in, run up behind you, or honestly, there could be another concealed carry person there.
That's right, and they don't.
You run in and shoot this guy. You shoot this guy in the back because he's stabbing people, and the other Mr. Good Guy decides to waste you.
Yep.
Oh, this just got real complicated. I want to spin back to our safety during training thing for just a second here. The whole idea of if there's something going on that makes you feel bad, we do a thing, it's a little talk, we do our safety briefing in the morning when we go out to the range, whether we're shooting video or whatever we're doing. And one of the things we say is this: everybody here is a range safety officer. And for us, that means camera operators as well. If you see something going on that makes you feel uncomfortable, speak up. Anybody here can call ceasefire. Anybody. And then we will sort it out and discuss it until everybody's comfortable with what we're doing. But that is the same when you go to a class. You are your own range safety officer, and you have to be willing to say, this is not working. This is too dangerous. I don't like what's going on. And bring it up, not like wait till lunch, bring it up right then. Hey, I got a problem with what's going on here. Let's talk about it. Is there, why are you doing it this way? Maybe there's a really good reason the instructor's doing it that way. And then you'll understand and go, oh, okay, I get it. I understand what we're doing. Or the instructor may say, wow, I did not realize that was going on. I didn't see that on the other end of the line. One of those deals. I mean, Michelle,
or you could be an idiot.
You can't watch everybody.
No, you can't watch everybody. I mean, we've gone to shoot. We host shoots, yearly. We do local events, and it does. It takes everybody to be aware of what's going on. Unfortunately, we were participating in a shoot where somebody watched a young child do something that it wasn't unsafe, but it was a situation where extra equipment was taken up on the line and not needed. And, at that time, the adult had the ability to say, hey, pull back your cleaning rod or whatever it is, because, know, and they didn't say anything and then thought it was funny. You know what? That's a child, and they're learning. It's in your hands to help them build on that experience and help make it right and just instead of thinking it's funny because a failure happened.
That takes us to the other area, that there are jackasses out there.
Yeah.
And your duty to society is to call them a jackass on the spot and make them stop. No, stop that. You're being a jackass. Knock that off. And if that doesn't fix it, if it's the person who is responsible there who's been the jackass, it's probably time to leave. If it's somebody else and the person who's responsible won't do anything about it, it's probably time to leave.
Yep.
And that can be something as simple as putting the wrong caliber of firearm in somebody's hands and knowing that what's going to happen in that situation.
How many times have you seen people that be up at the line and people behind them are loading? They got their mags loaded and they're ready to load it in the fire. It's like, no.
I've only seen it once because it stops if I see it.
Yeah,
trust me.
Throat punch.
It stops.
Tom throat punch.
No, we're not going to throat punch him, but I will. Hey, stop. Stop handling your gun behind the line. Period.
Right.
And if that doesn't fix it, then they have the line to themselves because I have gotten into the car and I have left.
Yep.
Well, we have people, and it along the same lines, because we have an indoor public range. We have people that come in and first time in, want to experience it. They have, somebody with them, girlfriend, wife, whatever it is,
Sure.
Another guy, whatnot. But regardless of what that situation is, one of the first questions at our store that we ask is, what kind of experience do you have? Where have you started? Because regardless of what you think you want to shoot right off the bat, this is my recommendation. If you don't want to go with my recommendation of starting on a 22, I'll sell you whatever you want. That's my job. I'm not here to make you mad, but I wouldn't suggest starting there because, as I always say, I want you to be in this for a lifetime. It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of mental work. It's a workout to go and do this, to go on the range.
It's one of the reasons we do it is because we get mentally challenged. You are so occupied by it that everything else goes away while you're shooting, and you're just focusing on, shooting well, shooting small groups or breaking the targets or whatever it is you're doing.
Right, and you've got that reward of success as everything comes together more and more and more. And I guess that's just one of my things too. Not only do you have, the ability to stop someone and say, hey, what are you doing in a situation, on the range before they even get there, we have the ability to say, yeah, okay, I think you should rethink this situation a little.
Well, yeah.
Helping people. I mean, they got to understand. And part of the battle we have, and you know it, Jim, because you do a lot of educating too, is people are afraid of guns because they don't have that education. Mm-hmm. And you have to open up the door properly. And still, I have a fear of them.
Guns are loud, and guns are dangerous. Let's not pretend the guns are not dangerous. They certainly are. If they weren't dangerous, we wouldn't use them to stop bad people. At the same time, to your point, you have to introduce people to it gently and correctly and make it fun.
And keep them on the right path. I mean, if you see something going wrong, stop them.
How many women?
We all have that responsibility.
Absolutely.
How many women do you think have been turned off by shooting just because some idiot guy put a .357 in their hand?
Oh,
44, whatever.
Right.
Lots.
Yeah, lots of them. You've seen the YouTubes. I mean, yeah. We've had people, it's like, well, what have you shot before? Well, she shot my 44 once and she hated it. Well, okay, I would too.
Why?
I would too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that. So if 44 is the only comparison, you have one shot, I can't tell you what to expect out of this gun because you don't have any experience to work off
But
of.
boy, are you ever going to love shooting a 22.
That's right.
Yeah, because the 22 only have half the kick of a 44, right?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know what will be great, but this will definitely be where you want to start.
Yeah, this is where we're going to start this one. Oh, God. Oh, I just got notification we're getting some air guns in from SIG. They are making air guns now that are exact copies of their long guns and their pistols.
Nice.
And I mean, like exact, fit in the holster. The rifles operate the same way. So looking forward to that. So that's going to be fun to tinker around with.
Cool.
Air gun wars.
Yeah. Air guns.
Road trip.
So no tin cans will be safe. Simple as that. All right.
A lot easier to get than 22s.
Yeah, BBs are, yeah. So I got to get briefed up on the whole. I'm used to the old little bitty CO2 cartridges, but I guess they got these big ones that go in paintball guns.
Yep.
And they're putting those in the air guns now. That's pretty neat.
And some of these guys have the rigs with the little mini scuba tankers on their back, and they have the high pressure line.
Yeah, but the guy that you want to be afraid of is the guy who actually has the compressor on his back.
Yeah.
He's running around.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, okay. He's going full auto with the BB gun.
Oh.
All righty. So, you guys, when you're at the public ranges, be safe. Keep your eyes open. Don't be afraid to say something. You don't have to be rude or mean or nasty or anything. But you do have to say something, even if it's just, hey, would you mind not handling that gun until you're up at the line?
I may come to your place and practice that this week, Michelle. I'm going to go range by myself and just say, hey, knock it off.
Okay.
That's not safe.
Yeah.
Just pretend there's somebody there. So when I really have to do it, it's a training of sorts. When it really has to
then,
do it.
Then Michelle will be saying, it's unfortunate, but we had to tell Jim he can't come back to the store.
But wear this lovely jacket with your arms tied on the way out.
And
this long sleeve jacket.
Right. Got this lovely white coat for you. That's a parting gift. Well, I do want to say to that extent, though, don't startle them. Don't come up behind them and startle them. I mean, because, that could be a different situation all its own. You thought something wasn't unsafe that you saw. Boy, startle them and
shoving is out of the question.
A lot of times you walk up and say something with a smile in your voice. Hey there. I'm glad you guys are here. Look, could I ask you, when we're up at the line there, could you guys not handle the guns back here? That's a range rule. And it's just a safety thing. It would sure make me feel better if you do that. And if they say, well, I know what I'm doing, and I say, well, I do too. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to... Okay. Well, that might not be the way to go. Okay, maybe what you do is you say, if you don't do it, then I'm going to get Michelle, and you know what Michelle's going to do to you.
Stop.
Pick another bone.
There you
You'll
go.
have a bone to pick with you, young man.
You guys make me sound like I'm awful. No.
Release the Kraken.
We love you, Michelle. The term sea hag is a term of endearment.
Oh, my gosh. All right. I'll see you guys later. Tom, it's been nice knowing you. I'm glad I was here for the 2 years with the after show.
All right. That's right. 2 years is quite enough. Thank you very much. So there you go. And look, on your way out, give him a smack upside the head.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Consider it range practice.
There you go. All right. See you guys next week.
Be good.
Bye, Tom.
Tell your friends about the Gun Talk After Show, a more informal setting featuring Tom, Michelle, and Jim commenting on topics that are important to you. Available on iTunes and other podcatchers, and the Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android.